way northwards. So by the time we get to around lunchtime on Friday, most of New Zealand is looking rather wet and also very, very windy as well. For many of us, it's going to be quite an unpleasant day. Australia is also rather unsettled at the moment. Lots of wet weather around here. And as we head through Friday, you can see these dark blue colours that suddenly crop up here in the southern parts of Queensland. This is going to be an area of very heavy downpours, and there is likely to be some flooding out of that. Up towards the southeastern parts of Asia, and here we've got our usual rash of showers for most of us, but watch out for this blob of blue here. This is giving some heavy downpours, and gradually it's working its way towards the west. So for the southern parts of Vietnam, we're going to see some very sharp showers as we head through the next couple of days. Now up towards Japan, and here it's very, very chilly currently. You can see the winds all flying down from the northwest, and as they do so, they're bringing in that cold air and also a fair amount of snow. Most of the wintry weather will be along the western coast for us for Thursday and Friday, and further southeast it should be more or less fine and settled.
It is in the details. A look, a connection, the moments that reveal the truth. Award-winning documentaries from critically acclaimed filmmakers. Witness documentaries to open your eyes. At this time on AlJazeera.
Welcome back. The top stories in Al Jazeera. 2 U.S. airmen are killed and another 2 servicemen injured after a man armed with a handgun attacked a bus carrying troops at Frankfurt Airport. Police have arrested a 21-year-old from Kosovo. The U.S. Army has filed an additional 22 counts against Bradley Manning. The soldier already faces 12 charges in connection with providing thousands of classified government documents to the WikiLeaks website. And there's been heavy fighting in the Libyan town of Brega. The area was attacked by pro-Gaddafi forces in a major counter-offensive to take back lost territory. But Gaddafi's troops were apparently unable to take control of the oil port. Let's speak now to Mansour Kekia. He's chair of the Political Science Department at the University of Texas. He joins us from New York. Professor, thanks for joining us. When we look and listen to the latest events coming out of Libya, we hear on the one side that it could descend into civil war. We hear of the humanitarian crisis there, the refugee crisis. Just to address the one issue there, that it could descend into a civil war with pro and anti-government forces fighting each other. Is that a likelihood, do you believe?
No, I don't think so. First of all, I mean, there are 2 things that really have to hit off right at the bat. These, first, that Libya has tribes, but it's not a tribal society. Secondly, Libya has Muslims, but Libya is not an Islamic state. I mean, you have to understand, Gaddafi is stuck, holed up in Tripoli. The rest of Libya is against him. He has a few of his own clan and tribesmen in Sabha and in Sirte, but much of Libya is not under his control, and this is the reason for attacking the Brega today. He wants the oil wealth, which he's not able to get, and he's not able to continue his lifestyle that he wanted in the past. Libya has institutions, it has laws, it has social security system, it has hospitals. They just did not function well under Gaddafi. So we did have a remnant, a semi-civil society. So the idea that once Gaddafi goes, this country will degrade itself into strife like Somalia is ludicrous. And really it insults the intelligence of most Libyans.
But a lot of those institutions that you are talking about are now breaking down. There is quite a bit of chaos in the country right now. I mean, there was talk not so long ago that the eastern part of the country might secede from the rest of the country.
Well, the eastern part of the country can secede now if it wants to, but it hasn't. And it's been calling actually for more unification. It's saying that we have to liberate Tripoli. We have to join with Misrata. The new council they established today has representatives from all the liberated areas. I mean, this is something that Gaddafi wants to happen. But it's not going to happen because Libya is a Libya. And the idea that it was put together during the Italian rule is another nonsensical nonsense being passed along. Libya has been there for many, many years. And a sense of nationhood has in fact emerged, and it's beginning to emerge. As I said again, it has tribes, but it's not a tribal society. Most Libyans live in cities, they're intermarried, they have blood relations. And so the idea that Libya is going to break down in this Somalia is not going to happen.
We have seen the international community impose sanctions against Libya. We saw those sanctions passed last Saturday evening, asset freezes, travel bans, etc. But there appears to be reticence on the part of the major powers to implement any kind of military action against Libya. I mean, there's been talk about a no-fly zone being imposed on Libya, but there doesn't seem to be much enthusiasm for that. Why do you think that is the case?
Well, this is the same. It's a baffling question to me too. I mean, it seems to me the Western society says something and does something else. And Libyans are willing to shed their bloods, but they want a level playing field against Gaddafi. We don't want, as Libyans, intervention by the powers. We don't want European or American or any other power to come to Libya and give us soldiers. We want, if possibility, to prevent Gaddafi from using his air force to bomb civilians. That's all. As far as dealing with Gaddafi, we will deal with him. In fact, even looking at the Arabs too, talking about the Arab League, you know, the only country that has really offered Libya any help and support, believe it or not, has actually been Qatar. And then AlJazeera itself, for reporting what is going on actually in Libya. And Libyans will never forget this for Qatar and for AlJazeera. But otherwise, we can deal with Gaddafi. Just level the playing field for us. That's all.
Okay, sir, we're going to have to leave it there. Thanks for joining us. Security in Côte d'Ivoire is deteriorating as fighting continues between President Laurent Gbagbo forces and supporters of his rival Alassane Ouattara. Thousands of people have been trying to flee the violence. The United Nations says conditions are dire with supplies of food, water, gas and petrol running low. International radio broadcasts are also being jammed. Imran Khan reports now on how some Ivorians have found refuge in one of Abidjan's churches.
Finally, a chance to smile and to sing for some. This is St. Ambroise Church, Abidjan. But instead of spiritual healing, it's medical healing in this makeshift refugee camp. Thousands have fled the fighting between supporters of the man the West recognizes as Côte d'Ivoire's leader, Alassane Ouattara, and Laurent Gbagbo, who is clinging to power despite international condemnation. They arrive here disheveled, tired, and in desperate need of care.
We have two types of people, those who only stay for a day and those that stay longer. We try and help them move to safer places.
And with homelessness comes the threat of disease. The International Red Cross fears that the longer this goes on, the higher the chance of disease spreading.
The most urgent needs that we are talking about are linked to health. The need for medicines is also linked to hygiene, which is also linked to the need for shelter.
Most of the fighting, which some fear could spread to civil war, has been